Hello, welcome to my tournament recap of the Retro Invitational 2025. So, this event took place in November and December of 2025, and it was an invitational of Andy Talaga. So he invited 16 accomplished retro players to face off against each other in this unique format, which was Classic Novi Modified. Modified because it was with defensive shields. So Classic Novi is basically every episode 4, 5, 6 card without the maintenance cards. So no no Super Lando, no Blizzard 4, and no episode 1 cards. No virtual cards, as it says, Novi. So also the classic cards, which have very strong virtual counterparts like Tarkin, are not allowed. So you have to play the old school Tarkin. And usually those formats have some NPE cards with which are quite impactful and which got defensive shields later on to make for a more fun experience. And defensive shields are effects you can play from outside the game. So you don't have to put all the effects into your decks, and you have more slots for the important 60 cards because you can pull effects like Battle Plan, Battle Order from outside the game. So I think this format is very good for retro players to get into as a bridge to get into open, because some are afraid of shields or don't like shields. I don't understand why, but it's the case sometimes. And it's also a good way for open players to get into retro, because most of the open players say they don't like those imbalanced strategies like numbers and so on, which can totally win a game on its own. And there they have the shields. So I think it's a good middle ground for both kind of players, for retro players and for open players, to meet in the middle. So this recap, I will timestamp it, is basically my run in that event. And I think it was a little bit of it's the Christmas time, so nobody has really time. But none of the games were streamed, and I think those games were really nice. And the other reason is, I won the event, so why not make a recap of it? But it's really more the case that I think more of those games should have been streamed. And maybe some of the other players also have replays they might want to share, which they thought it was a great game and is worth seeing. So those were the decks I played. It's end operations, but not the flip version. I played TTO. Why I choose those decks, I show you when I get into my decks. And what's your step? Of course, you want to flip what's your step. But first of all, before we get into the decks, I show you the tournament structure. So those were the 16 players who got invited. So a lot of accomplished retro players like Paul Todd Feldman, Joe Herbie, Johnny Chu. Everybody knows Johnny Chu in open and in retro. So every one of those very strong player. And some of the open players who play every format, like Brad Kippel plays every format. He places very high in the Retro League also. And also PMG, Pat Johnson, who was my finalist opponent in the Retro Camp Championship, 69 players. And he also was the finalist in this event. So this was the top 8, top 4, and then the finals. For the tournament structure, so in the 16 round, there were 4 groups of robin rounds. So you played in one group with groups of 4 groups of 4. You played each opponent, and every game counted, and the total differential counted. In the top 8 format of the game, it was of course match play. So it was just differential. You played one light side, one dark side, and if both players won one game, the differential counted. If you won both games, it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, that was the tournament structure of Andita Gala's Invitational. So this was my dark side deck. Why TTO? In the Retro League, there was also one event which had the Classic Novi modified format. In this, I played Court, which I also liked very much. So I thought they might think I play Court, so I wanted to switch up. So in the Robin rounds, I built a TTO deck, which performed really well. So I thought, why not play it again in the top 8 part? There were a lot of events going on. I was in the OCS Opens, in the OCS Retro, in this event, and I think there were a few other events, and I also played Star Wars Unlimited. So I didn't want to put too much effort or time into building decks. And I'm playing TTO in open format since quite a while. I always coming back to it. I really like it. And I have a bunch of different lists. And one of the lists I played is in the open format was Pride of the Emperor V Black deck. So I took this as a basis, removed all the virtual cards. Then I opened one of my Death Star 2 TTO lists, which is unplayable because there is Honor of the Jedi and no escape, which is this card. But there is another format which is called Premiere to Jabba Seal deck, and in this format, TTO also is pretty decent. So yeah, I took those as a base, combined it, and then I looked the cards up, which are new from the Reflections 2 and so on. And at first, I wanted to build a Saber deck, so not the black ties. But then I thought, why not play Talon Roll? It's pretty good counter against some of the most impactful ships, like the Falcon. And it's not so good against Watch Your Step because they have a lot of alien ships. But also they usually play the Falcon, and it's a pretty decent answer to that. You can't Talon Roll in the sectors, but you can Talon Roll at Kashyyyk or Endor, and yeah. So that was the reason why I played that. And I wanted to have a lot of tricks, like go aggressive, then have the all power 2 weapons to save my ships, and then counter beat. And because you have to go light in space with your ships because they don't have hyperspeed. You don't have the virtual version of combat response, so you can't move your tires. So you have to be really careful where to deploy how many ships. And Talon Roll and all power 2 weapons or set for stun helps me to go light on space, to be aggressive, to lure them in, and then go down with my other ships. And also, I can react with the Black 4, just in case I can't Talon Roll or get outpowered. Okay, the set for stun is a little bit more as a backup plan if they fly into my Death Star and want to blow up the Death Star, that I can just set for stun with Attract 6, their pilot, that they can't do it anymore. Yeah. Then, what's more, let's go through a little bit. Let's go through the effects. So this is the effect which allows you to pull defensive shields from outside the deck, which also allows you to not play cards like Secret Plans. Everybody knows this effect. There is no try against Sensor Alter. Battle Order. Coward. And against Watch Your Step. This effect. You don't have the Whittle one, so keep that in mind. It's not that powerful, and there are some NPE things which you can't cancel, which the Virtual Shields can, like Beggar, or what's more. Yeah, I have to, don't know out of the head now. That's also cancels the insert cards, which can be big. A grabber, always good to have. So yeah, but the downside of this one is you can only stack there 10 cards. You see, I have a lot more than 10 shields. So I always at the start of the game thought about, man, which shield might I need and which might I don't need. And yeah, you can make mistakes there from the start. And you can only pull 3 shields, not 4 like in the open format starting effect. And there are no shield pull interrupts, so you have to be really picky which shield to pull. And if you get shield busted, this can end up pretty bad. Okay, so this is also a decent card, because I think, I don't know if you can actually play this because it's episode 1 card, and usually the only episode 1 card you can play is this one in that format. This is also a tattooing card, which is episode 1 expansion, but it doesn't have the episode 1 symbol, so you're allowed to play it. And my characters are, yeah, bunch of the best stuff, I think. I have the option to put the Emperor on the ground, but I can also put it in space with a shuttle. I decided to have 4 ways to pull my system. So I have the Marishek. If I have it in hand, I can pull the system. It's also a spy, which comes in handy sometimes, but since there is the Coward Shield also for the light side, yeah, you don't really get to train at non-battleground sites usually, or you don't make damage. I have this option to get this one, which then pulls Marishek, which then pulls my system, or I get the command, which pulls the Piet, which then pulls my commander, which then pulls the system, or I get the system. So 4 ways to get to my system. If I would make the deck again, I probably would remove this weapon, because everybody's playing weapon levitation and steals the weapon anyway, so it's most of the time not that reliable. That's also the reason why I decided to play the EPP Vader and not the Endor Vader or anyone else with a normal saber. And what's more, here is the old school Tarkin, which doesn't add a destiny but can cancel a destiny. Also quite good with Vader. Here, this one to track good destinies, and yeah, just to add a little bit of drain if they go old space and you put down Emperor and this one, and you get a drain for 2 at your docking bay. Might even get a drain for 3 with fighters coming in. It's also very good. This one as just a good canceller for a lot of annoying cards, like could be worse, Nebron leads. and so on. And there is this one, to pull one of my Starship weapons. So there are two interrupts I considered. There is one which can pull a weapon from your deck or your hand as a react if a battle is initiated. Either you initiate it or the opponent. And there is this one which can pull during the deploy phase. So for this weapon, you might prefer the other interrupt because it's a kind of surprise. He attacks you, he thinks you don't have it. You play the interrupt, you pull this laser cannon. You then even are allowed to shoot for one force only with the saber one. So pretty surprising. But I also have this tie, which allows me to shoot a weapon during my move phase. With my Major Meander, or the Meander, I don't know how you pronounce it in English. It also adds 2 to your total, so it's here it's quite reliable if you can track a 6. And with this guy, you don't even want to battle. So that's the reason why I choose to play this interrupt, because I can put down my Meander with the tie I showed you. I can play this interrupt. I can deploy the weapon during my deploy phase. I can go through the battle phase, not battle, go to move phase and then shoot. And with the other interrupt, if I want to get to his weapon, I would have to pull it, to attack, to pull it, and I don't want that. Also, I think that's a good combination with this one, because if you spend a lot of force, it's not good if you didn't spend a lot of force, but if you spend a lot of force, you either have it in the reserve deck or you have it activated and hopefully have spent it in the use pile, where you can pull this weapon from the weapon levitation. Yeah. That's one which also adds with suckers in space, but also can cancel game text, which can be quite impactful. So nothing fancy from the other cards here. This one, I didn't play it in the Robin round, but there I faced a lot of home ones. So I thought, I might need the Super Laser Mark. I can't really remember if I ever used it, to be honest. If I remember, I just say I can't remember because I don't want to spoil you. Yeah, that was my dark. And this is my light. So it's kind of a toolbox deck with a lot of one-offs, because you either can pull the one-offs with a control tunnel vision, which you then are even able to play again from the lost pile with objective, which is very, very strong. Or you lose it from any drain or something, and then it's in the lost pile, and then you can also play it. Which forces you to be, you have to remember what you lost, of course. Here too, I decided to play the EPP Luke and not the Destiny 6 Luke, which might be the usual pick. Also because of weapon levitation, I don't want my weapon to get stealed. I don't want to first need to deploy to home 1 docking bay, because the Destiny 6 Luke costs 8 if you don't deploy to home 1 or Ender, which is very expensive. I want to be aggressive. I want to be able to land beatdowns with, sorry about the mess, or surprise with run, Luke, run. And that's the reason why I played this. And I also played this effect to get it back into hand if I lose it. If I lose Luke. I decided a lot. I thought a lot about how many of which 2 Lukes, 2 Cheddar Resilience, 3 Lukes, 1, 3 Lukes, 2 Cheddar Resilience, and cut another card. But it's really hard to get into 60 decks, into 60 cards. And here, at least, we have the shields that we don't even need to play stuff like Battle Plan or Aim High. Yeah. So that's the good part about the shields. And you still need to cut down to 60, which is, difficult enough. And I thought about putting in this surprising card. So I can either, during a control phase, one of your smugglers at a related site to your system occupied your Frighten or starship, alien starship, may either fire blast or make a regular move during using personal land speed. So I can shoot with Lando. That's why I also played 2 copies during my control phase. And that's also why I play 1 copy of this Hun and not only relying on space. Or I can make a move with those and then use Sorry About the Mess to shoot during my control phase. So that was the idea. To the ships, those are standard. They can't Talon rolled. But this is not standard. Usually they play the other Falcon. I decided to play this Falcon. I give up on the immunity because usually you end up with Han solo in that ship. But I can get the immunity either with punch it, which I don't play, but with moving in attack position. And this ship is immune to Talon roll. So I thought others might pick up on the Talon roll idea from the Robin rounds. I don't really know if anyone else played it or not, if I had the only idea or more of players played it. But I thought, I don't want to get Talon rolled. I don't want my best ship to get killed. So I played this. It's also quite handy that if TTO is a popular deck, they start Endor. So I even get the -2 to Endor, which is nice. This could get Talon rolled, but you add at least 6 to your total, so it's very difficult to die to Talon roll with the Red Squadron 1. And I wanted another ship to be able to use the X-Wing laser cannon, so I played the Red 10, which also has a smuggler as a pilot, which is this one. This ship can definitely get Talon rolled. The other ones are tricks like Fallen Portal, Dodge. Definitely you always need a barrier canceller. You need something to remove Visage if you don't have your lookout, because you either want both guys to get pinged. You might even save some damage with Honor of the Jedi until they find their no escape. Yeah, that's the deck. That's very good in that deck too. You get the drain bonus at docking base. You get even more immunity tradition, and you can save your ship if your ship get lost. And I mean, if a pilot dies, not the end of the world. You have some other pilots which you can throw down. Okay. I think. Yeah. One card maybe. 2 cards which I can highlight. One is those. I thought when I played Watch Your Step in retro formats, it's difficult to get good activation. So I thought careful planning might compensate for that you can 1 or 2 times in the game activate a little bit. And that can be really surprising if you have the laser cannon. Nothing saved, but then you are able to activate at least 3. If you draw 3 for Destiny, of course. To then shoot. And this one. I don't think I saw anyone else playing it, but in the Robin rounds, that meander with this tie, which can shoot during move phase, really made me, gave me a hard time. So I thought a little bit of weapon protection might be good. So you can here subtract 2, which basically counters the ability of Meander, which adds 2. So they have to draw a 4 or 5, a 5 or 6 to hit. And then I might even have this one in hand. I might not. I might have to add another 2. And usually if they tracked a card, they went all in on the idea of killing your ship during a move phase. So they might not have a force save to shoot during their phase. They might not have a way to run away with their ship, or so then you can counterbeat. Okay. Yeah, those are the decks. The top 8, the first top 8 game was against Johnny Chu. I played Dark Side first and Light Side second. So we go into these games first. Okay, I will pause at times if I think there is something to say. Bear in mind, this game is now almost a month. Played a month ago. So it's not very fresh into my mind. So I might make even mistakes, I might even think, why did I make this play? And have to think about why I did this play. But we still do it. And I really don't want to watch every game before making that stream. I hope I just don't make too many mistakes. So I choose 10 cards. It took much longer than shown in this replay to select 10 effects I might need. And here, of course, you pull the combat response, you pull the Death Star, and you pull the Jeterod to pull all your other sectors. So you place the staging areas to get a bonus at the docking base. So going to this hand, I had the short range to get one of my ships, and this one is one of the cheapest. And since I have Talon Roll in hand, which can add to power, but also can Talon Roll his Falcon, and all power to weapons, I feel pretty safe to go very aggressive. Because if he goes to space, my ship definitely will survive. And if he also goes to space, he at least can't get the activation bonus of staging areas. Also, if he has the Falcon and would still outpower me, I still have the option to play the all power to weapons to add 2 to my power, and then play the Talon Roll to have a better shot of winning the Talon Roll if I need it. Usually everybody's playing the grabber with the shield, at least in open. But this one leaves me only at 2 shields to pull for the whole game. So I could have went down with Jeterod to space, but then I don't draw Destiny, and I don't have a pilot to react with a Blizzard Black 4. I could also have played Black 2, and then keeping Jeterod in hand to that, hoping that he will attack into me, that I can react with Jeterod, make my pulls next turn, and play the all power. But I mean, it's Johnny Chu. He wouldn't do that. He knows all the tricks. So just going there. So I knew that my no escape is in the force pile, but that I got it is very nice, because if he would have attacked here, or if he has a spy, and I don't have the no escape, I definitely would lose out on getting my TTO going, because I need Jeterod one more turn to pull all the stuff, to pull the last sector, which then pulls the TTO. But yeah, a little bit lucky there on my part. Okay, and I just saw that you can't see me, which doesn't matter. The game is more important. But also paused, and here we missed that he came down with Takey 422, Han Solo, and then dropped those two guys here to kill my Charizard. So now the noise cape comes in really handy, because I need him. And it's even better to let him strand here, because I could either pull battle order, which I won't do because I want to drain for free, but also coward, which denies him to drain on a non-battleground side. No way he overflows me here. He has forfeit 6. So he didn't pull a shield. He didn't ask for a revert. He did it on purpose. So at this point, I'm thinking, why doesn't he want to pull a shield? And want to be really picky with my shields, because I'm a little bit afraid of, of getting shield busted. Little spoiler, which I will. Even if I know, even I knew that it's, that it can happen, but yeah. So here, he can have some tricks. He can have Fallen Portal, and he can have like an interrupt which adds a destiny with an alien when he defends a battle. But I pulled everything I wanted to pull with Charizard, so I thought, why not still attack and force him to either use it, which then I could grab the Fallen Portal and just don't care about it the whole game, or make him lose his character, because he definitely don't want to peel 3 for that guy. Flying up with Charizard to feel a little bit more safe. At this point, I really need pilots, because, okay, I have the TTO going, but I don't have a ship to occupy his Tatooine, so I can't make the Tatooine damage go. And he got me to pull a shield, just for 1 damage. Maybe that was a mistake. Still no battle order from him. Just checking if I can pull any of those ships. I have a pilot in hand, or a ship, or vice versa. And yeah, going full aggressive, because I still have the all-power 2 weapons. I still have the Talon Roll, which functions on the Black 3. I also can draw if not able to otherwise with that ship. Or, since I will move to Tatooine anyway, I can also add 1 destiny. Yeah. But you see, I can't back it up. The other 2 ships are forced to stay on Endor. But I have the option later on to land if I need to satisfy battle plan. I definitely want to stick to 12 cards to don't get Grimtashed, because, yeah, I'm relying on those interrupts here, and I don't want to lose them. But I know that I won't need the super mark in that matchup. So at this point, he got me to pull my last shield. And this is the moment where he can pull the battle plan, because I'm shield busted anyway. And you will see that this will hurt me big time, that I've pulled the last shield. If I remember correctly. So there we have the tricks. I still might have to peel some cards because I'm getting outpowered probably. That's why I add one more to my power to hopefully save a little bit of damage. Because if I lose my ship, I don't have that many good pilots in my deck. I mean, I could throw down Tarkin on that ship if I lose, if I forfeit my pilot, and still deploy Meander. But I think I will end up peeling instead to get the TTO damage. Because if I don't peel, I don't occupy the system. And if I don't occupy the system, I won't get the TTO damage. So it's peeling 4 for me. How many? 5? But at least I get 2 back. And there you saw he pulled the battle plan, because I'm shield busted anyway. So here I took a little bit of a gamble, but I think it was a good gamble because the payment would have been so good. If I'm able to shoot down his ship and he played the battle plan, he will have to peel. And not peel, he will have to pay for all his drains. And that would be very important because it would save me probably a lot of damage. He definitely would drain at the cantina, but he probably wouldn't drain at the docking bay and at the bunker. But I think I need a 4. I think he has one. Adds 1 to maneuver one of his guys, but I draw 1. So yeah, unfortunately, that didn't end up going my way. Now my ships are vulnerable though, because I can't fire. I think it costs 1 to fire, and I don't have all power to weapons, but I can at least add 1 destiny with my sector to probably crack his immunity. But yeah, losing 4 to drains here hurts. I definitely would have rather kill his ship. And there you see it, the numbers inserted in my deck. Holy moly, at this point I knew, damn, I screwed up. I really screwed up. Because look at his numbers and look at mine. It's not that bad. I have 1, 2, and another 2. But every character I will throw down, which would make some damage or at least get me a battle, satisfy battle plan, will add another 1. So I would be at 4 total. And he don't actually know if the undercover spy counts, but if it doesn't count, he has a 3-3-4, which is 10 against my 4, which is losing 6 damage. Go a little bit faster. So now we have a revert because, yeah, he moved to the wrong thing. At least I have a lot of damage going, and I didn't end up getting the damage right from the start. The 6 damage But now we are at, yeah, now we are at 6 damage. We would have been at 5 damage without the Tarkin. At this point, it's a race, and I'm ahead in this race, but not very long. If I get the 6 damage. I don't think Monarch will have an impact in that game. So now there it is. And okay, his total is 9. Ah, right. Sorry, not the 4. It's 3, 3, 3. Yeah, right, 9. But so you saw the one of the undercombos by didn't count. And my total is 3 only. Ah, yeah, because of the IG. So I miscounted, but I still had the right differential of the damage. It's still not looking that bad for me. At least from the damage output, I have battle plan satisfied. So I can drain and make TTO damage. It's 3 TTO damage since I occupy 1 tattoo inside. But he has 4 saved, so you always have to, could have, and it could be worse or something. So there he lost on the edge, which is a little bit annoying. I would rather have kept it into his reserve deck, because now he can play it from outside the game if he tracks a good destiny, which gives him some retrieval, and I don't even have the aim high shield left to pull, which would at least have that he would have to pay to retrieve. So here, everybody of those guys, he is, I think, he is defense value 5, because he gets +2. And these defense value 6. So at this point, I can also throw out Luke, because he's also defense value 6. So why not go after his best character, which has immunity when everybody is basically the same defense. And I also saw the one of my the one going from my reserve deck, and you saw the reserve the verify. So I was pretty confident in my chances to hit Luke. There he used his Mirex, which allowed him to put a destiny down, which he wants, which could be a good destiny to retrieve. I can remember that he definitely retrieved at one point, but maybe that was the moment where he put down the destiny to track his good destiny. So you see the 6, and I knew there was 4, 6, 7 left, so it was a 100% hit on Luke, if he doesn't have the blasted deflection, of course. One of his destinies got cancelled from Tarkin. The other one got through. So here, I lose all power to weapon from hand, bluffing that I lost the one, hoping that he will attack. But I think in retrospective, this was a mistake. Because if I don't lose it, I can attack and have another one if he attacks me back. But there you see, he tracked the 6 with his Mirex and now retrieving 5. Which sucks, of course. That it's not good for me. But bear in mind, it's differential. So even if I lose game 1, it's not the end of the world. And it looks to be a very close game at least. And I have the higher damage output. If I'm able to block most of his drains, I have the higher damage output because of TTO. Although I know that now he has a Barracuda tail out and can cancel one of my 2 drains here. Which allows me to make 5 damage instead of 7. And he could also have it could be worse, of course. Which he has. This one I have to grab. Because he can track it with Mirex and loop it. And I think I lost my Tarkin's order already, my canceller. So it's very important to grab that could be worse here. If I remember correctly, now I think I make a mistake. I attack with all power to weapons. Because he doesn't have immunity. Or no, he has immunity, but I know that I will draw a 5 to kill the immunity and probably don't get overflow. But because of that, I don't have one more all power to weapon for the counter attack, and I have one force to less to block one more drain. So I can walk over with Marichade. And I can walk over with Wader. Okay, I can do that. Then I block 2. But I could walk over with Wader and Tarkin, not losing any of those, if I wouldn't have attacked and saved 1 force. I can't really remember what I'm doing. I'm probably drawing only. Yeah, which might have been not the best play. My idea was that he now needs to back up space if he wants to attack my ships, but I think not attacking would have been better here. There you see. It's unlikely that I lose everything because here I only have forfeit 3, 6, so 3 plus 3, and another 3. So a total of 7 would remove my presence here. But here I have 6 and 3. So he needs a 10 to remove my presence here, and we saw that he only has a 9. So 3 plus 6. I wonder. I didn't pay attention now. If he would have had the option to play the heating for medical defense to add 1 more to get to 10. No. From his objective, you know. I mean, maybe it didn't even want to remove my presence, that he's threatening beating me down because I can't move away, but I can land. So if he would have thought that would be good, it would have been wrong. But we can check if he already played it. Nope. Okay, here I'm going for the 50-50. I can remove one of his guys, the Mirex, which leaves him here without a destiny and without immunity. So even my one would kill this guy. I don't know if it was worth it, but yeah, I still did it. It definitely would have been worth it if this guy wouldn't have been there, because he then would lose his battle plan. The satisfaction? Yeah, he wouldn't have battle plan. Yeah, I don't think that was a good idea to land here. But only because I knew what happened. So he retrieved his number effect, which now leaves me in a tough spot, because it forces me to not activate stuff. Because if I activate, I'm dying right away, probably. And even if I don't activate, it's if he battles, I'm either forced to draw Destiny, and then I might get the number card at the top and lose the game, or I don't draw Destiny and lose my guys, and then he will be able to drain next turn, and then I also would lose cards from my deck, which increases the possibility of hitting the number card. Here he spins, which he probably did because he wants to battle once more. I don't even draw Destiny because I don't want to get to the never tell me the odds. That's also why I don't swing, because I would need a 5 to hit, which is not guaranteed. So here he draws a 9, he gets into 15. I only forfeit 7. I would have rather not drawn a Destiny, but if I don't draw a Destiny, it's basically the same, because I would lose Vader and would have to peel a card, which is the same than drawing a Destiny and losing no card. And that's a tricky situation. I know there is the 5. So if I attack him here, I have Destiny at 12 and he is at 8 with power 2. So he would lose 4. But if I get to my 5, I'm activating the Never Tell Me the Odds on that way and will lose right away. If I activate hoping to shoot this ship down, that could be an option, but also if I activate, I would die right away. But still, if I do nothing, he will drain me for 3, which is also bad. I mean, best option would probably be to activate and try to shoot, or activate, move over, block the drain and only get drained for 1. But still, I need to be really lucky to not hit. And I need this one to survive 1 more turn, because if it doesn't survive, I don't get the last TTO damage which I need. So I give it a shuffle just to have the option of getting the 5 on top of the Never Tell Me the Odds from the bottom. And move over. So here, it all comes down if he's able to kill my ship here or not. And he will be. So if he doesn't have the 5, if he has only a 3, I win. Because I get the last TTO damage in. But since he kills space, I have no option to make any damage. Because I can't activate. If I activate, I'm dying right away. And that's the end of the game. Boom. 3 damage. Only 3. But it doesn't matter, because he would kill me again and then rinse and repeat next turn. So I lost the game by only 2, which is basically nothing. Okay, here we are at the next game. The next game is, I played Watch Your Step, which the deck you saw from the start of the video, and he played AOBS. So here I don't fear the inserts because I have this one, but it also allows me to pull Honor of the Jedi if I need it. No Luke in hand. You always love to see Luke in hand against AOBS, just to flip him back if he flips. But it's a little bit harder to flip in the retro formats than in the open formats. In the open formats, we basically flip most of the time turn 1. Bad feelings I have, that's not good for me. It adds to deployment of all the good characters, especially Luke, but also Obi-Wan, of course. It can get altered, but since my flip side prevents sensor alter from being played, yeah, it's safe. So here you see it's not that easy to get good activation going with Watch Your Step. So next turn I have another docking bay, but that's it. I'm getting to 9 if I don't want to I don't want to deploy castle. So that could be risky, but I have the moving in attack position in hand, and I'm adding 1 destiny to total power. So even if that's a very good way to counter Succus, actually, because I'm immune to attrition and I'm getting a destiny to power, which doesn't get reduced to 0, which, yeah, my battle damage would if I play against Succus. And that would give me the option to counterbeat, which I don't really have at this point if he really comes down with Succus, because I only have the Red Squadron 1, and with the pulling of a pilot, I only get to 4 ability, which is not enough against Succus, but still. So I cancel his activation here, getting him down to 9 again from previously 11, forcing him to satisfy any any battleground system to get his activation bonus. But also leaves me alone, leaves me with only 1 shield to pull for the whole game, which is not that bad because I have this combo effect here, which at least saves me to pull aim high. But he can't play Sense and Alter anyway if I'm flipped, so that's also another shield, you can say. So here we go. He has the Succus. But I have the moving in attack position. I just need to draw higher to not lose anything. And that's his best ship, probably. He might even play 2 of those. So it's good that this is on table already. And he runs away because he fears the counter beat. So I knew that I won't pull any docking bay, but I wanted to check which of those I want to use to get another ship out. So we're going full Harakiri here. And I see that I have dodge in my lost pile. I'm flipped that he can't play Sense to cancel the react. That he has another react canceller other than Sense is highly unlikely. He doesn't activate enough to beat down 2 sides. And this ship is also pretty decent with dash alone. Yeah, to stay on his ground. And I also have another moving in attack. I have the moving in attack position in my lost pile to also save that ship if he has something. So it's an aggressive line, but I think it's a pretty safe line. And I think it also forces him not to pay to train. Oh, I should have paused here to take a look at this. He had a lot of power, presence of the force to make his sides here to battlegrounds, which then would allow him to flip on Coruscant. There we go. We both satisfy battle plan now. but I have a little bit more activation. But only 6 cards in hand. It's tricky to drain here though. I'm still doing it. But look, I have a ship and 2 characters. If he has Surprise Assault, he would draw 3 Destiny. So this is the time where I think spreading out, getting ahead in the race might be the right choice. Better choice than attacking into his Bane Mauler. And it came in pretty handy that I drew the It's a Hit. So I get only 1 damage. He gets only 1 damage through. I'm in a very comfortable spot. And remember, I only need to win by 3 to win the matchup. I was too I was too slow again with pausing. So this is a little bit of a risky thing here, because there is a shield which allows me to deploy my rebels -2. And this basically cancels that +2 here. But without the shield, my pilots deploy +1, my good characters deploy +1. So Han Solo would be 7 to deploy to here. But with the shield, it's only 5. So Hand of the Jedi doesn't do anything here because he occupies 3 battlegrounds. But he is shield busted. He can't play the Ultimatum Shield to limit my drains to 2, or the Force loss to drains to 2. And because of this Admiral's Order, I drain for 2 at the docking bay, which is quite nice. Okay. Here we go. What are my options? My options are Mirax and Pulsar Skate. Plus Han Solo for 6 to space to then attack into Sakis. My other options are going for his Jizo, hoping to flip him back with my EPPs. He might have a barrier, but I have also the Sorry About the Mess to not even needing to go to my destiny. So we'll see what I decide to do. Okay, I'm going for the ground. Here is the shield, which makes my rebels -2, so this is only 5 instead of 7. I'm still drawing no destiny, by the way, because I don't get to total ability of 6. He wants to play set for stun, which fails, which is pretty nice. And I actually thought about dropping another guy to be able to draw destiny. But I had the projection telepathy in mind. I thought I need to save at least 2 force more, to be able to cancel. to be able to battle. I didn't see it in a verify, but I thought he probably plays it. I didn't use it as a used interrupt, because then he would get rid of one of my guys and I have 2 tries to shoot him down and then use sorry about the mess. And the odds of the Destiny were pretty fine. See here, sorry about the mess gets placed out of play. I would have rather had it in my lost pile, of course. But that leaves me with no force saved at the system here. Which, yeah, it's not optimal, but it's not the end of the world. So I didn't pull the Falcon because I already have the Han Solo on the ground. So I can't use this one. There is definitely a risk that you forget it and that you pull your Falcon and then you thought, oh, why can't I deploy my Han Solo? And I mean, you have the option to pull Mirax with squadron assignments, but since you're shuffled and you activate more of the half of your deck, the odds of you activating it are pretty high. That he deployed the first strike shows a little bit that he thinks he's behind, because he probably wouldn't have played it if he thinks he's in a decent position, because he can backfire, of course. Still getting a drain of 5 going now. 2 at the docking bay, 3 at the castle system. There you see another interesting card, where it was broken concentration in combination with first strike. So if you've saved a force because of first strike, just uses 2 force to put the card from the force pile of your reserve deck, so you have no force left, and then he can beat you down, and you can't use good chicks. So I use my Endo Celebration here because I will run away anyway. I have nothing against the suckers. Even if I deploy all my 3 characters with 2 ships here, I only get to 6. Only get to 6 ability, which is not enough. You need to get to 7. I wonder if he mistracked. If he thought he has a 0 on top. Yeah, he mistracked. So he played the Overlord on my Han Solo, which wouldn't have been that bad, which would have allowed me to deploy the another Han. And if the Destiny is 0, the character starship is lost. And now you saw that he draw 1, but then lost the Cherida from reserve deck. So I mistracked by 1. There I'm adding one just because I will use it anyway this turn, that effect. And if he doesn't have a gook, I might get one more overflow. And the good thing here is every one of my side and its space, if I consolidate, are pretty safe. So if he wants to attack just for first strike, I always get 2 destiny. That's a little bit risky actually, because he hasn't played his no escape yet. I haven't paid attention if he lost it, but I thought I might consolidate to one side, so either on the cantina or on the docking bay. Probably on the docking bay because I'm ahead anyway, and just threatening the fallen portal. But now I spread it out, risky as always. Risking that he might have a no escape, capture one of my guys, and then I don't get a destiny. I mean, I can see that I could also have flown Wedge to dash or to any other system, because he probably doesn't have any other ship in his hand with only 2 cards, and consolidate with 3 characters on one side here. But in the other hand, if he has no escape, he can also come down to my Han Solo and Chewbacca. But then he probably would lose to a weapon destiny, his character, if I hit. So yeah, risky as always. Don't know if that risk was needed in that. I shuffled his deck because I know he's tracking always and he doesn't get activated. There is the no escape. I really didn't know if he had it retrospectively, because the game is... And there we go. That's exactly... maybe back into my mind I knew that this is coming. That's why But I think... But maybe because I shuffled, maybe he will miss. I can't really remember. At this point, I could have activated only 4, hoping to draw high, just making him think that I tracked and that I'm a pro gamer. But I didn't. I just activated everything I can with careful planning. They still forfeit for a lot. So, there he could have drawn the 1. So I don't get any overflow here, I think. Oh, 1 overflow. And I can't attack back into the IG because he doesn't have presence there. This also means he has to pay to train. Dash is ability 3. That's pretty nice, because now I can go down with Mirex and Pulsar Skate and attack into his suckers. If he has the barrier in hand, that was definitely a mistake to shuffle. If he doesn't, it was no mistake to shuffle the turn before, because Bith Shuffle would have cancelled the barrier. Is it Carillion? No. Okay. I used it because he has immunity. Quite a lot. I think 6 with this one. But this only has 4 from that one. So I have 6 and a 6 in that battle. 6 in total. He's totally immune now, of course. From the moving in attack position. And this should be it. I think he will not be able to recover from that overflow if he doesn't have anything to cancel the remaining battle damage. And that's the moment where he conceded. Yeah, that was the top 8 game against Johnny Chu. Next round will be against Brad Kippel. After I take a little break. There we go. Game 1 against Brad Kippel, top 4. I'm again on TTO. No, yeah, and he's on Watch Your Step. So, both archetypes you already saw. Same procedure as every day. Getting my effect, my Death Star, and Chargerot. If you see the draw their fire, it's always nice to have a Gook in hand, because he probably wants to land beatdowns. It's not that important to go aggressive, because you don't get him to pull a shield, you don't get him to pull battle plan. But I can land beatdowns on my own with G0, his very good counter against the opponent. If he can't draw Destiny, although he thought he will draw 2 Destiny with his objective flipped. Again, a little bit of a risky play to play. No, I don't think no, I don't think Darkseid has the option to don't think No Escape has the same thing than the Lightside counterpart to go there for -2. So it doesn't matter. You just check. Oh, it has. At opponent's side, your character vehicles deploy -3 even. Yeah, it would be good to get that. To get to No Escape. But a docking bay is always risky to attack because of the fallen portals. Here I could have went to Tatooine already, but I don't have the objective out anyway. And at this, at least his ships deploy +1, so it's a little bit of a more protection. Sorry for that. And here we see he's playing, didn't play, press pause fast enough, that he's playing the riders with the petrol crafts to react The riders are smugglers. Palace Raiders, I think is not rider. Palace Raider here. And if he reacts with a Petrol Craft, he will draw 3 destiny, because 2 for 2 smugglers there, and another one for a raider piloting the Petrol Craft. It's a spreading out game here. So at this point I have to assume that he has... This costs 1, this costs 2. So he can react... He probably doesn't have a character for 1. So he either has a barrier or a fallen portal, or he has both. If he save 3, I also have to think that he can have a Petrol Craft with a pilot. But he definitely either has, or he's bluffing some reactions. And I only have this character in hand, where he only needs a 2 for Pollen Portal to hit. I'm a little bit reliant on drawing good cards here, because I only draw 1 destiny. I only have 4. I can't talon roll this ship. I can talon roll maybe another ship, which he might. But I'm definitely hoping to get something good into from my force pile here, which is not unreasonable with that amount of card, but not the biggest helpers here. But he doesn't know that. You always have to assume at least an all power to weapon. So you saw he was checking his reserve deck, saw that there is a card, a very important card active. Now it's coming down here. So I'm not it's not that easy to hit my ship now with 2 to maneuver. So it's a 6 defense value. He needs a 4 to hit. And at this point, I'm definitely glad that I have the Gug here. But maybe at least I can either lose my ship here and don't need my Gug, because the talon roll here is basically another Gug. Because if I win, okay, I don't get outpowered by that much. Still a lot, of course, and probably would still need to use the Gug. But if I win, if I lose, I'm just losing my ship and don't need, can save my Gug for later. Retrospectively, it would have been better to use the talon roll before he attacks, because now he was able to reduce my power to 0. And I was at power 1, 2 from the dark maneuver, So 5. So 5 more. Let's see if that would have made a difference. 5 more wouldn't have made a difference. He still would have won because of the adding 6 to his total. So at least he used the force to attack. I know that it's capped to 2, but I'm still adding 1 to because he could use the. It could be worse, and then it's still a drain of 2. Add a few options here. Attacking with suckers, which is basically suicide, because you can reduce my power, and even he doesn't draw any destiny, or he draws but gets reduced to 0, but he still outpowers me and might not even lose something. He could attack here, but still might not crack the immunity, might get outpowered. So I think it's better, yeah, to just keep the race going and, yeah, wait for more opportunity. Now that I put Palpatine down, I draw his shuttle, which is not ideal. So the Gurk in hand, again, it's very important for me just to know that I can block stuff and don't need to fear the overflow, even if he shoots this down, draws 2 destiny and so on. Attacking is not an option because of the Fallen Portal. Just blocking and, yeah, keeping the differential low. If it would have been game 2, it definitely would have played probably very differently. So here you see me. Oh, I forgot to play this one. Should have played it, especially since that will put the 7 down if he doesn't grab it, and probably would have grabbed it. I would also feel much more safe with all power to weapon here. But now I grabbed the barrier. No, I grabbed the it's a hit. Grabbing the barrier would have been decent because then he can't play a second barrier. But it's a hit is more important, I think, to get the drain through. But hopefully he doesn't have anything against suckers now. I don't know if it was wise of him to deploy Castle. Because of the deployment of Castle, he gives me another system to go there with TTO, which I wouldn't have had if he only, kept those this system safe. Now I get the option. It's not the most fancy option because I can't occupy more sides on Castle. Here I would have already had a damage of 5. 2 from the TTO, 2 more from these sides, and 1 more from the We Shall Double Our Effort. But at least it's a decent option. I'm still ahead in the damage race. He makes 4 damage. I do, if the board state stays as it is, I would do 2 from Endor, 2 from the Cantina, which he probably will move in if he doesn't feel the Force Lightning, and 3 from the TTO. That are some nice destinies. He might want to... Now he doesn't clear ground. If he would have had another character, he could have also attacked on his docking bay. And with the heating of medical defense and the 4... I mean, there's no way of saving my character here, even if he doesn't have heating for medical defense, because it's only immune to 4. But since he had only 2 characters in hand, I think that was, yeah, more important to clear the Emperor with the outpowering. Let's see if I play the Imperial Artillery now. Yeah. And he grabs it. I mean, this is only blocking the drain because he is at 6 ability actually. Yeah. But still, if I attack here, he might have the Form Portal. He can also shoot him down. If I attack here, same thing. Getting a 6 down. The only way to kill his Squadron 1 with Talon Roll here is if he activates everything, or he battles and has activated everything that I can then Talon Roll, and then he can't draw any destiny. But I think he knows that and always keeps Enough force saved. Sorry about the mess. That's a good one. Control phase. And he still hits with a 1. And then if he attacks or shoots another thing down, maybe I should have played the Talon roll. Because I knew, but I hoped that he will draw low, because I think he only knew his Destiny 6 at the bottom. But I also knew that I can at least add 1 Destiny. And get at least rid of this ship, of the Pulsar Skate. But I will miss out on the TTO damage next turn. And drawing low really hurt here. It really hurts. Here again, it's pretty annoying that I can't move this ship. I mean, I could move there without using hyperspeed, then fly over. But I have to fly back first. And then next turn fly over, and then moving again without hyperspeed. But then I'm giving up on the battle plan. So now here, that's an option with the all-power to weapon, and again the adding 1 Destiny here. But it's very easy to hit with his X-Wing laser cannon. I don't really have an answer for the X-Wing laser cannon. If I get the Piat, I can react with my black 1 and then play the all-power to weapon. But it's almost the same, because he will shoot down 1 of the ships and I have 1 left. That's actually not bad for me that he saved only 2. But now I can play the all-power to weapon. But there again, the objective helped him to play the barrier from the lost pile. Which definitely will be enough overflow to kill me. So we got a loss by 12. Is it 12? Yes, it is 12. I think I don't even draw and lose from the, from my. Okay, I draw, but I think I lose from my reserve deck without satisfying. Or no, I get survive 1 more turn. If I wouldn't have survived 1 more turn, I definitely would have peeled here without losing the ships first, because then I have more cards in lost pile. But at this point, I get to survive one more turn, which might allow me to get one more drain in. And since he's low in hand cards, it might be worth it. And I get the TTO damage in, because he buried the one card, which will definitely get beaten down next turn. But that's a lot better than losing by 12. So let's see if the last hand card is a fallen portal if you lose it from hand. Doesn't lose from hand. Okay. At this point I should, yeah, I'm asking for the rebirth because I want to talent roll, I think. But I think the reward was before the shuffle. And I should have talent rolled after the shuffle. Or waited for him to shuffle again before I used the talent roll, but now he draws the 5. But yeah. So I definitely wanted, I passed on accident after the shuffle, and I wanted to talent roll because I saw the 1 in his deck. But anyway. Wanted to take the 50-50 chance. But I don't really know if the reward was now before or after the shuffle. Anyway, doesn't matter. So here one thing, if you want to shoot with the saber 1, you have to press no. You don't want to use any force. And then you have to... What the fuck? Did I miss clicking on the... Actually, I don't know what I did here, why I didn't fire the weapon. Problem. But if I want to fire the weapon, I have to press no. I don't want to spend force, and then I have to press on the saber 1 to make 3 equals 1 equals 3. So you see, definitely some mistakes here, and but in the end, it doesn't matter. He will drain me out anyway here. So it's win by 6. A lot better than the 12 I thought. And back with the other side, and we have the same matchup, guys. So let's speed up this a little bit. The start, it's not really as important. You see the same effects than last turn. I have a lot of ships in hand. He already pulls 2 shields. And he's playing a different version. He's playing the version which pulls this effect from his starting interrupt, which then pulls that effect and that effect, which gives him the option to deploy the Death to Docking Bay, that you can't deploy spies there to kill Cheftarot. I did decide to not play this version, this combo, because it puts even more cards on table. So you lose 2 cards. You lose, if you only play this one, you don't play this one, and you don't play this one, and you don't play the Docking Bay, so you lose 3 cards. And I thought that's not the most efficient way. It has another good side, this effect. So it makes some other game text here. If you follow up with your tie armed with a weapon, but it's rarely the case. I prefer the set for stun to prevent them from blowing the Death Star than relying on following with a weapon and limiting their movement destiny. So yeah, a little bit of a different version. And he's still not he probably activated the Docking Bay, and you see a very aggressive start of Brad Kippel. So let's go a little bit slower now. So I think, okay, if he drains for 2, I drain for 3. With pretty low differential, I'm not letting me lure into some like all power to weapon stuff, or losing the game turn 1. I like to play risky, but only if I see any advantage in it. And with a control tunnel vision, which I can then reuse, because at the moment the shield is not in effect. I don't have 3 smugglers on table. So using it now and playing it from the lost bar is basically the same than when I'm flipped and or when I'm 3 smugglers on table and playing it from hand. So I get more use out of the card if I play it now. There he had it, the Death Star Docking Bay. So it probably was activated and then he drew. Did he spend every force turn 1? Have to. Because if he had it in hand before, he probably would have played it, because he likes to have activation, I guess. But he's already a 15 activation, but it's pretty decent. Because of my castle. Little risky. He could have, it's worse. And I have no canceller for it's worse, but yeah. Playing around every card is sometimes also not the best option. So that's why that card is in. I have only 12 activation, which is not very good if I want to throw down a lot of stuff. But now I'm at 15 activation next turn. And I can get my Luke back into my hand with the Shadow Resilience and still have another Luke. I think not using Shadow Resilience might even be the better play here, because I'm not flipped yet, which means that he could cancel the Shadow Resilience. So seeing it now, I probably would rather lose it and use it next turn when I'm flipped. But we will see what I'm gonna do. I'm using it, okay. He grabs it because it's a lost interrupt and I could play it again. Honor of the Shadow doesn't do anything here because of no escape, so no way, no real reason to save it. Maybe that's also the reason why I played it now, because as I said, if I play the lost interrupt after I have 3 smugglers on table, it gets placed out of play. So probably it was the better play to play it now, even if it gets sensed. Because if it gets sensed, it's also again in the lost pile and I can use it again. So the good part for the light side definitely is the flexibility here with the hyperspeed. So I can just move, but he gets the TTO damage in then. But if everything works out great and I hit here, I might get a little bit of an overflow going. That's a good destiny. That will hit. I should have fired with another weapon, just to get rid of the one. But you can't really know that. Usually you should still fire just to see cards of your deck, which you then can track. Especially with Mirax in hand. I should have definitely fired. That might be a little bit risky to lose Luke, but that way I still get the 2 destiny. I still have high defense value because of the card, and he probably can't capture one of my guys if he doesn't get very lucky. And that gives me the option to come down with Luke at another side, which is my strongest weapon, my strongest character in that deck. Now I can't move here because movement here requires 1 force, so I have to run away to Tatooine. So using 3 to drain for 1 is not very efficient, but he probably doesn't have that many options in hand to use all of his force. So for me, if I keep him off ground, it's good. So maybe I have some options. I have the option to hunt him down in space with the ships I have in hand, or come down with Luke and the characters on ground to again the low risk play to attack Chatterot, use sorry about the mess, to then overflow Palpatine again, or the high risk play to make the same kind of stuff on Palpatine to then get even more overflow. I could also come down in space, so there are a lot of options. But I'm deciding to go for the ground play. which definitely limits my options next turn, because then I'm there with all my pilots and just running from him in space. So I actually can't remember which play I do. Okay, I go for the safe route. Let's see if it paid off. 2. So it definitely was the right play to use the safe route, because I would need a 6 to hit the other one. Definitely should lose the old ban from the top of my reserve deck just to have it in the loss pile. Yes, I did. Even when it was already played, it always hurts to see a 1. But the 6 definitely compensates for that. Yeah, if he doesn't have the Gurk, another Gurk in hand, it's GG. 3 more, maybe not GG, 3 more. But definitely keeps me in a very solid position. And I still have the option to put down the ships on the docking bay and then shuttle up 1 or 2 of my guys. But he still has 8 card in hands, so. Now it sucks that I used the sorry about the mess, because I would definitely need it here to shoot down the 3PO. So interesting play here. Very good one, I think. He will draw Destiny because of that sector. I'm outpowered. I will also draw Destiny, but yeah, probably will get overflow, because Wedge draws if not able to otherwise. The good thing is that he still have to pay to train. And with only 9 force left, it really hurts to pay to train. Luckily, I have a lot of forfeit bonus from my objective, so he forfeited for 9, the wedge. But with Mirrors, I was able to get on the edge in hand. I have no rebel though, so I can't use it. So I decide to kill one of his ships. I could also have attacked into Barons on the Fill. I think he's only immune to 5, so I would have been able to kill him without losing, because I knew there is the moving in attack position. I was a little bit lucky that it's still in there. Probably fused it. I don't know where it didn't. Still get overflown by 1. So this is actually good now. Next turn I could shoot down his 3PO if I occupy Tatooine system. Very annoying card. No force to grab it. So now he relies on me not having any pilots left, but I have. And this is the part where I probably win the game, but I can't really remember. But they have so much forfeit that even if he draws a 6, it doesn't really matter. One of my characters will cover. Depending on the second destiny of him. But still, I won't lose more than 2. If the first destiny would have been high, I wouldn't have used the Dark Maneuver, maybe. Ooh. But even with the 12, he's still down a lot. And still 2 characters will cover the forfeit, so he decides to concede. Yeah, that were the semifinals. And we can go to the finals against PMG. So now I'm TTO first against TRM. I played a bunch of TRMs in the Robin round. Main stacks with the home one. At this point, I don't know which his deck is. I don't think any of the games were streamed. I didn't check, so I had no idea which what his deck is about. And he gets a very good start with a Gunite, which really hurts because I have to spend the whole force to get my Chetarot out, which is deploy 5 then. So he saved 3. Use and gets demotion. So demotion cancels the game text of an Imperial. And that really sucks for me because I get only 1 pull of Chetarot. If I don't get to activate my 3rd sector, I won't get my 3rd sector in the next turns, or maybe the whole game, depending on how the game is proceeding going forward. So not even if I had it activated, I mean, I had to play the Chetarot. I forgot that he had started the game, of course, as TRM. So there you see it. And there goes the dreams of getting TTO out pretty soon. But you saw the deck. It's not too reliant on TTO. Of course, the TTO damage played a big part in the other games. And it's a lot of damage. But I have also some good ground options. I have the space drain for 2 here. And I think it's hard for him to challenge Andor. It's the best way for him to get a battle plan satisfied is if he waits for me to over deploy and then goes somewhere else. So we will see. But yeah, nothing to do for me. I just have to draw up and hoping to draw the last sector until I'm reaching 12 cards. Because if I draw more, probably get Grimtaged. Okay. This seems like a worst case ever. But on the other hand, I have the Gilg. And his guys are stranded there. I don't really have to fear them. No Nebron leads in this game because of the insurrection. So I don't really need to fear those characters. He might walk out right away. But also then I have the option of Vader with Dr. Evison. I have the option of Set for Stun with Vader. But remember, Dr. Evison is ability 2, but Vader's ability 6, so he's deploying for 8. So I have not enough force to deploy either Set for Stun and Vader and attack, which would equal 12 force needed, or 13 force, 8 plus 4 plus 1 to attack, 13 force for the combo. I'm just going there, and which gives me the option to play the Coward Shield, that he has to play a battle plan. So I found my system, but as I said, as long as I'm ahead in the race, I'm okay with it. I don't think I should deploy the second system until he tries to challenge the one system I can control easily. Especially though, since this will make it hard for him to satisfy Coward, that even if he runs there, he can't drain there, or get no damage there, no drain damage, because of the Coward shield, which says he needs to occupy at least 2 battlegrounds, or the force drains at non-battleground zones are cancelled and retrieval. And this makes it hard for him to satisfy 2 battlegrounds, because he usually TRM plays a lot of Twixes, but not battlegrounds. And he also didn't find his Twixes yet, so he's still at 9 activation, which is pretty bad. So I decided just to spend some force, save the rest, I think, and just draw up to 12 again. Yeah. There is actually a battleground site. This gives me some options. However, you have to remember, by the way, no battle plan played yet. There is always the possibility of, again, Fallen Portal, Barrier. Theoretically, I could come down with an alien, because he can't attack into my alien, just to place one there, and then deploy the next character next turn, because as long as there is only an alien, I don't have presence there. Let's see how they decide. Okay, I'm going for the ride. For not fearing the Fallen Portal. The bad thing is I have to play something, because if I don't play, I can't draw cards, because I would draw over 12. And then I will never find my last sector. But at this point, I don't really care if I find the last sector. You still have to remember that he is at 14 force. So definitely the option of him for counter beating, if he has some tricks like Clash of Sabers or Sorry About the Mess or something like that. But you saw that he had to peel 6 damage. So he didn't have the Hojiks. He lost Mirax, he lost the Rebel Barrier, Skywalkers, Interrupt, a Twix out of commission, and a Signal. There is the imbalance combo with Bagger. Really brutal would be if he hits Vader and Sorry About the Mess him, and then hits Dr. Everson. But the other one is even as bad because they have the same power. He could also Sorry About the Mess Dr. Everson, and then I have only 6 power left, and then he hits him with Radar, making me forfeit 0. I'm going for the safe route because I clean anyway. And it was definitely the right choice. The other one would have been really greedy. I thought, man, I can kill this one. Then use Everson. He draws no destiny, already fired with this guy. But on the other hand, the board state didn't really call for that. And so I thought, yeah, why not? Why not go the safe route? And I'm not even that unhappy if he clears my ground too, because he has the back out, and I always have to fear a beatdown. So I'd rather would attack myself than getting beaten down. And I will clear anyway. I mean, there's 1-0 left in my deck, the last sector. But yeah, it's 1 out of 27 cards. If he hits, it doesn't really matter, because he doesn't have the sorry anyway. Sorry about the mess, because he would have used it probably. I think at this point, it might even hurt himself to play the battle plan. Okay, he has much more force than I do. But I do 2 damage and he does only 1. He might want to force me to go to ground, but there is no reason to, actually. A little bit of a problem is here that he can always use my card stuff, but even if I save 7, he can only use 1, or he would lose his bagger. So I think, if I remember correctly, I'm just, placing 1 character there. Play Tunnel Vision maybe for Grimtage, yeah, but I think actually it hurts him here because he gets me cards back into the deck, and I'm not really reliant on those cards, so I might even win by more than 20 than I would have if he wouldn't have played Grimtage. Okay. It's going for it. Ooh. That's a good one. Can cancel the destiny, but I draw 2. And he gives me an option to attack and retrieve. Still holding back my system. He will cancel the second destiny. Should have cancelled the first. But everybody would have done the same. And it's a total destiny of 2 because Barons on default adds 1. That's a brutal one for him. So he cancels his own destiny just for fun. So that game started very bad for me. At least you would think that. With the Gunite and the demotion and not being able to pull all my sectors and don't get past 9 activation. But with the constant draining, it actually was not that bad. And I think at this point you can even lose the sector from hand because you won't be able to really make TTO damage anyway. So I have 2 options to deny him the drain of 5, I think it is here, plus 3, unless TTO is on table. Either can kill this ship, or I can kill one of his characters, because then Coward kicks in. And yeah. So I have the option to attack with this one here, cancel his game text. Oh, here, okay, I can also attack here, of course. Definitely will capture, which will deny him from, which will save my, so that I try to hit because it will save my character. And if I hit and capture him, it denies him to deploy another layer because it's captured and he can't attack into that guy anyway. And he gives me even more options to attack into him again. That's why I didn't drain. Because if I don't attack, he again will drain for 5 in space. But since I can attack and kill his guy, he won't be able to drain in space. I mean, a second option would be moving without using hyperspace and to block that drain. And then if he attacks into me, I can react with the Black 4 and the Merry Shack. So that would have been another option. But I think that's the better one. Just keep Coward in place. Now if I draw below 3, it would suck. But, ooh, that's brutal. Second time he draws a 0. That's the worst case of him. He retrieved one, but he can't really afford to keep his character, because I would counter-attack and retrieve again. I have battle plan satisfied. I can't really attack into Luke because I would get overflow. So activating none, just to keep him no, because I don't want to draw something. And if I activate, he can use back again to use my force to come down with bigger stuff. So just doing nothing is, I think, the right play here. Still gets one drain in, but I get to retrieve one more. So it's all about maximizing the differential, because it's game 1. And I definitely want to be in a good position in game 2. Which I definitely am. I should win that game by 28. $29 even now. I actually thought about not drawing Destiny here to counter-attack, but on the other hand, I think the force loss of the Draw Their Fire comes before the retrieval. So even if he doesn't lose 3 from his reserve deck, which he probably would, but 1 from hand, even if I then attack, I wouldn't get to retrieve to 30, so it doesn't really make a difference. So I just drew, and he probably will peel. Yeah. Okay, that was game 1. Pretty rough for PMG. A win by 29 is extraordinarily high. So this phase, my game plan, of course, is just to not lose. Not lose high. I can lose. There is no shame in losing. When he peeled Hunt down, I knew, okay, I don't really want to cancel the pink damage. I just want to keep the pink damage alive. Maybe save 1 or 2 4s, 3 4s, depending how long it takes for him to get to his no escape with my Honor of the Jedi. And after that, just keeping Luke alive. And getting him down that I can drop. But I don't have something against winning. It's just more about winning the match. And there is no shame in drawing up if you win the match. But I don't think it will end up being the case here. Because if you win that high the first game, it's highly likely that opponent will concede if he sees no option in winning higher than he lost. Getting all my stuff. One docking bay is active. There is the option of him of cancelling out of the Jedi with alter at this point, because I'm not flipped and he's not flipped. And as long as he's not flipped, everybody adds 4 to the destiny draws of Sensor Alter. And when I'm flipped, you're not allowed to play this Sensor Alter anyway. So let's see how long it takes for him to... So 1 force saved, but 1 force deployed with Honored Jedi. So if he gets the noise cape right away, which he does, basically nothing happened. But it was worth a try. So he will have to play super aggressive, of course. But he still only activates 10, which is not much. Darkseid has a little bit more options in that format than in Death Star 2 format, because you have the Gizor or what else? Yeah, it doesn't matter. It has more options. I go there because I have the It's a Hit. And that's pretty risky. Although I don't need to play very risky, but I have the second Luke. So I force him to either not drain or drain and cancel with It's a Hit. But it's definitely, let's say that way, I want to keep the pink damage going, and I don't see a world where he can overflow me by a lot with only that amount of force, but I might be wrong. That's one way where I can't be wrong if he now has another hype. Ooh, can't remember that one. Being flipped would have been nice now, because I could play the Jedi's Resilience from Lost Pile. Still unlikely that I get overflow. Now it's impossible that I get overflow, but it's possible that he gets overflow. So it definitely lured him in to make risky plays. I also didn't hit. Okay. So overall it was a bad battle for him, but it was a risk he had to take. The first strike for me is a double-edged sword. I really want to get Luke out to that he gets also ping damage, but also this would give him another place to attack into. At least I get flipped now. Then gives me the option of Jedi's Resilience, but I have to save 1 force because of the Draw the Fire. So this is tricky. I can reduce his power to 0. I can play moving in attack position from lost pile. So there is a world where I don't even get any overflow. I mean, he has to, of course he has to do something, but that might be backfire. And if I'm able to hit ability 3, Wedge or Mirrex with this guy, and then deploy that guy, I am at 7 ability and I'm able to counter beat. And the 4s are enough, 9 4s. So yeah, he has to peel 1. So now I've barely enough force to make the plays I said and then move away. That probably would be the best play. Okay. I didn't hit pause fast enough, but yeah, both are there. So Mirrex and now the other one. We get to 7. We get to attack for 1, not retrieve, but then move away. Loses Hujix from hand. That's a bold move. So we had 19. He forfeits for 5, 8. So it's down 11. It's down 6 now. Oh. Yeah, no overflow. Crazy. So I decided to lose the ship because I can use, not the character, because I can use this one to then go there with the ship. Which either gives me more forfeit fodder at the ground or gives me the option to, yeah, to fly up. But here I'm just running. He only trains for 1 after he lost his saber. And that's the point where he conceded and says, okay, I can't really, I'm already at 31. So that was it. That was my recap of the Retro Invitational. A pretty fun format for, I think, every open player and every retro player. Kind of the bridge between middle ground with the shields. And it is a format where you saw a bunch of different decks. So TRM, Watch Your Step was pretty good. You saw AOBS, you saw TTO. I told you about the card I played in the Retro League, which I went undefeated with, actually, in that format. So I think it's a fun one to try out. And thanks for watching.